Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to the making of the Night City project, a project that was really fun to make, and it was an exploration of the extrude node. It seems that everybody is doing cities these days with extrude node, so I said I'm gonna do something cartoonish. I don't want to do something realistic, but as you can see, we still have some details, and this is what this video is going to be all about. Seeing the details in the shaders. If you want to see the geometry nodes making, you check the link in the description or the one that appeared in the top right corner during the demo. Before we start, I want to give a big thank you for all of you that are supporting this channel. Subscribing, commenting on the videos, liking the videos, it's really helpful. And of course, a big thank you for all of you that are deciding to purchase the project files from Gumroad. That's helping me keep doing these videos. So the cool part about this, as we saw in the card, is how you can make a moon in the world shader. So I'm going to show you that. This will be the world shader. It's kind of looking like this. I'm going to make it bigger so you can have a good look at it. And the way it works, we have something done for the lights. That's this HDRI from here. It's from Polyheaven. You get the link in the description. The generated texture coordinates and the strength is decreased. And this HDRI looks something like this, as you can see here in this. Okay, let me close this one for a while. This is the HDRI that I used, and for the lighting and the reflection. But when it came to the background, we have a different setup here that is doing this stars and this moon that you see here. The moon that is actually attached to the camera. That's the cool part. Even if you move the camera around, the moon is following the camera. And the way to do this, it's basically doing texture coordinate based on the object and using the same controller that controls the camera with empty. And then again, we have this mapping that it's taking care of the positioning of the moon in the frame. And when this vector math node set on distance is giving us the gradient that you see here. This is basically a gradient that we used after we did this positioning. We used the color ramp with these stops really close to each other, as you can see here, and we created this dot. And when this dot was mixed with the other stuff in the image to create this moon. So using this dot as a mask, we can mix this color, as you can see here, with the everything else to get the moon. This is of course an emission shader that you can use to get the different brightness. And then we have two other elements on the scene. We have the stars like dots, and let me switch from the camera, the star like dots and the clouds. And for the stars I use this Voronoi texture that you see here, this one with this setup. So passing that through a color ramp, and then using this output from the color ramp as a mix factor, we can add the stars, and then we have these clouds. The clouds are this noise texture that you see here. Again, pass through color ramp to give us these colors. So basically we have the yellow color for stars and this background here, and they are mixed based on this Voronoi texture. So the black parts will get the yellow color and the white parts will get this setup here. So mixing all this together, we get this, and then we add the moon on top, and then of course we can add everything else into the frame, and that will be the world shader. For the objects, if we switch to the city again and go to camera view, we have a few materials, but they are not very complex. If we look, we have the building materials, and these are this is basically the most complex material. It has two parts on it: principal BSDF with this color and an emission with this color. The principal BSDF is responsible for most of the details that you see on the buildings, and the purpose of the emission is to get this thing that you see here on the side. If I am to cut the mask from here, as you can see, we have the principled and we have the emission. And if we plug the mask, we get this effect here. That is controlled by the layer weight passed through color ramp to reduce the effect, and using the facing value, we basically get this gradient here that is emphasizing part of the building. For the windows, I just used an emission shader with these values and this color. And the ground material, it's a little bit more complex. It has again a principal BSDF node, and I control the roughness to get this effect on the ground that you see here. So you have this Voronoi texture that is passed through the color ramp to get the colors, these colors for the base. So you have this color and this different shade of gray. And then I used another color ramp for the roughness. So I basically had a roughness of 0.7 and a roughness of 0.15, and that's giving us the result that you see here in the frame. The antennas, the one that appear on the top of some of the buildings, if I switch from the camera view that has a depth of field effect on it, and I go to the top of one of the buildings from here, something like this. The antennas is basically a metallic shader with a reduced roughness and this base color, and the little part is an emission shader with these values, and you can see some of the antennas that are lit. So if we look at it and I go to the center where we have this, some of the antennas have lights on and some of them are not. That's controlled by the geometry node setup. So let me find some antennas here that was lit. To show you. Yeah, something like this. This is this shader, these antennas here. Okay, that will be kind of all for the materials. We have the lights. As for the most of my projects, I use 3 lights that are using a constraint to be tied up with an empty, so you can control with that empty where the lights are pointing. And to get the turntable effect, I parented the camera to another empty and animated its Z value. And I also got this up and down effect by playing with the X rotation. The lights are using these colors that you see here with these values. All of them have custom contact shadows enabled. So I have these three colors for the lights that are giving a different mood to the scene. So if I am to look at the camera view and disable the lights, we get this, and then we start to add some details that will probably not be so visible in the videos. But this is what I did with the lights. For the project settings, we have, well, we have ambient occlusion that I increased to get these details on the buildings to separate things around. The bloom effect, that is of course controlling this bloom, and screen space reflections that add some more details on the shinier surfaces. So basically that's it for this project. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you find something useful that you can use in your project and do cool stuff with it. If you do so, yeah, you can share it and tell me all about it. I'm gonna be happy to watch your artwork. So until the next video, happy blending and have a nice day.